Welcome everyone to another Onward VR Master League matchup. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's, and I will be your caster today. Today we have a mid-tier matchup in the league, a gold versus silver tier. Going to be SpaceForce versus Legionnaires. Actually, silver versus gold, respectively. And it's actually Legionnaires versus SpaceForce. Legionnaires are home. And we will go quickly into pick bans since I do have them here in front of me. Coming out of Legionnaires, the ban is going to be Suburbia. And from SpaceForce, we are going to see Tanker. 2 close quarter maps getting pushed off of the playing field. Map number 1 will be Bazaar. We are going to be diving into a bit of that close quarters, rough and tumble action. I expect to see some fast-paced rounds to kick things off here between these two teams. I don't think we're going to get that slow play, although it is very possible. We've seen some of the more prominent fast teams playing slow as of late, so maybe something we'll see today out of SpaceForce or Legionnaires. But I anticipate some quick plays today, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking very much forward to it. It should be a fun series to watch. A little Wednesday afternoon action for you. I think we are going to nearly be jumping into the mix any second here. I think we are going to get a brief moment. Give me a second. Take a look at our active rosters for today. Hop on over to the roster page where we have for SpaceForce, Destructor, Hooneyhalf, Diesel, Lionheart VR, and Driver of Car. And also you can see the subs there. Mr. Sirius getting cut off at the bottom for Legionnaires. Or sorry, the subs there for SpaceForce. And over on Legionnaires we have Zarek, El Vegas, Kitten Mittens, Raider, and Mr. Meowgi. And the reason I'm getting so twisted here is because the pick was not the pick from Legionnaires for the map. It was from SpaceForce. Legionnaires opted to go with Volk, and SpaceForce chose the map. So SpaceForce will be able to double down on maps here. They'll pick this map and then the next one, or they'll be able to pick side next round. Either way, there's no more waiting. We're going to see how this series shapes up. We're kicking it off with round number 1. In map number 1, SpaceForce versus Legionnaires.
But I almost capped that time. Doesn't matter. We need to go in the same time. Sure. Okay, that's cool. Ross will be out of sync. 09, 03.
Oh, what was that?
Can we drop? Give up. Give up.
Give up?
Give up.
Yeah, that's in time.
Yeah, that's in time.
Okay, we're doing a little forfeit. He dropped within the time frame, but I don't think they gave up in time. Little hiccup there. We'll kick it to the scoreboard. See, with show off SpaceForce's great logo as we wait to see what exactly happened. I believe we're not counting that round. I believe they're gonna take the drop. I'll reset scores. I think everything is in order. I think we're doing a... Not sure what we're doing. I think a lot of people are resetting their headsets, so just patiently wait. Bear with us here as we hash out these technical difficulties. Oh, we also have had... Okay. Let me adjust some things here. If you are just tuning in, though, thank you very much. Thank you for bearing with any tech difficulties we're having with players at the moment. If you want to get involved in the league, you can. Head on over to vrmasterleague.com/onward at the bottom of your page here. Find all the info you will need. Appreciate you patiently waiting. I think we are just going to go underway with this lobby. You may see a name switch. Legionnaires now on the left, SpaceForce on the right. Actually, it doesn't look like we're doing that either. Jeez Louise. All right. I'm going to wait until the round is well underway before we come back to this lobby, so thank you for waiting. My apologies. Just seems like these teams cannot get their headsets operating properly. I'm not going to go. We're going to wait. We're going to patiently wait until we see that we actually are starting the game. And we're underway. I think everything is in order. Does seem like they're having connection issues over on their side, and that is very unfortunate, but the reality of an online gaming. Your teammate drops. I don't know what you can do about it.
I'm not sure if the same go past.
Diesel did take some early shots at a interesting prone position from El Vegas. He somehow managed to tuck himself under these bars just in time before getting shot. He is still taking some fire, but those bullets are ricocheting off of that metal frame there just in front of him. I think Vegas realizes he's been very lucky dodging those rounds, and he's going to try and move. Lionheart does miss that rotation and kind of shift around each other. Drops back, covering the same angle, just with less range there. Derek, also a very lucky driver of car, doesn't catch him out on the rotation. Looks to me like driver is just patiently waiting for his team to push up. I think our mini-map is a little bit broken. We'll try and hash that out next round, but he's definitely checking his map. Friendly's rotating around that east side. One kind of pushed up already, looking down those stairs.
Second floor.
In blue room, C4 being detonated. Destructor able to catch Raider rotating out. Mooney half catches Vegas, sees the feet underneath the dumpster truck. Underneath the dumpster truck, jeez. Underneath the dumpster. Firm Vegas, and now it's 3v5 for Legionnaires. SpaceForce converging in on the objective with 3.5 minutes left. Driver of car getting dangerously close here, checking inside objective courtyard now. Mr. Miyagi denying Destructor the push up the north. Driver of car inching his way inside, closer to objective, little by little. Hidden Mittens also trying to cover the east. Mr. Miyagi just confirming Destructor on the north side. Here is SpaceForce moving their way. Diesel coming up to flank. Driver of car. Able to make some moves onto Zarek, who's tucked himself into the stairway there. They just don't have the coverage they really need. They don't have this whole east side under control here. Lionheart just kind of be able to freely roam. They really need Mr. Miyagi to rotate and take control back here so he can look into the courtyard here. Be able to deny a couple of SpaceForce enemies entry into that objective courtyard, but It's not driver of car. Catches out Kittens in blue room. Eric quickly refragging him in that prone position. He's lucky no follow-up coming out of Diesel yet. Little trade though there. SpaceForce now in a 3v2. The smoke and a great nade toss catches both on the corner. And SpaceForce take a Marsoc round on kills and the lead 1-0. Really great, very nicely timed entry from SpaceForce. You can see there, 2 minutes left on the clock after winning that round. Utilizing their time well, making sure they have some extra time in case they need to relocate. And I think that most important part of their push was taking control of the east side of that map. You can take control of east, you can look into the objective courtyard and have all sorts of control over that objective. So nicely done by SpaceForce, and solid Marsoc round 1 for them. We'll see if Legionnaires can do something similar. It seemed like they had some unique positions early. Just didn't quite pay off. Maybe they'll be able to do something on Marsoc. Especially if they get the fast spawn. Could be charging at objective. By the way, we didn't get a lot of time to talk about both these teams. Go over their match history this season like we normally would. SpaceForce have played a ton of games. 9 and 6, a total of 15 games played in comparison to Legionnaires 5 and 5 at a total of 10. Been challenging a ton of squads, and this is a challenge match. So I do presume that maybe SpaceForce are the challenger here. Out to Legionnaires. We'll see if Legionnaires can answer back with the Marsoc round, because they're going to need it here if they want to tie things up. And I suppose this is a problem of restarting the map the way we did. Objective has switched. Looks like the teams are just playing into it, though. Not a ton of time really wasted, and it looks like one pick already from Zarek getting driver of car in objective room. SpaceForce pushing up here, getting aggressive. Vegas catches out Diesel under Souvenir Building. And SpaceForce's early positioning costs them 2. Now, Lionheart and Hooney rotating back to this side of the map after hearing those early shots, recognizing that nobody's pushing from the side that they were rotating to. Destructor able to get Vegas with some well-placed C4 in that blue room lane. And now it's a 4v3. Legionnaires kicking it off good. A nice smoke played across the street. Very aggressive. Everyone moving. They're already here in the south with 4:55 left. Starting to make their way towards objective. Checking the pad just to make sure he knows where his squad is to his left and right. Sure, no team kills coming out here. Does look like Hooneyhalf may be the one that runs into this action first, although he's not exactly covering the south side. Doesn't look like he can see very far down that south lane. Won't be until Legionnaires are fairly close to having a line of sight onto objective that Hooneyhalf will be able to react.
South wall if somebody comes from there.
Here, still watching South. May finally
There's one south wall.
Spot one, and he does catch Meowgi in the gap in the wall. Oh, he may challenge. But now there's 3 there instead of just 1. Very risky peek here. It does cost him. Meowgi able to catch him through the gap in the wall. Now SpaceForce in a 2v4. Destructor and Lionheart on either side of the objective holding it down. Gonna force Legionnaires to push in on it.
One with me in blue room.
Interesting comms there from Destructor that he thinks there's one in blue room with him. A little paranoia of the mind. He's hearing steps to his left. Definitely draws his and Lionheart's attention. Now they do know that Destructor's in this blue room because he did shoot down that lane. They're actually going to send Raider to come around from this side as well since they don't have anybody here. I think that's what they're doing. Raider will come in from Destructor's side. Maybe try and enter in through the blue room while the rest of the team rotates around and comes in from the west. They have 2 minutes left, so they have a little time now to kind of fiddle with their plan. Or SpaceForce to wait. There is only 2 alive. I think that's a UI bug we're seeing now. Trades, though. Destructor does spot Meowgi rotating in the flank, coming in from his backside. Raider's there and catches out. Destructor alongside Meowgi with the help there, and Lionheart's the last one alive. Checking his pad, knows he's only one. Knows he's lost his blue room defense. Raider may have seen him there. Lionheart peeks around the corner and catches 1. He's going to look for another. He gets 1 on the corner. That's 2. It's in a 1v2 now for Lionheart. Nade comes in. He pushes past it. Just misses him. He hears footsteps behind him. Can't deal with enemies on both sides. And Legionnaires answering back, tying it up 1-1. Yeah, looks like SpaceForce having connection issues again with Hooney. It seemed like the general consensus in chat was that Hooney's connection is very unstable. So unfortunate for SpaceForce. Wonder if we'll be going into a timeout while I wait for Hooney to reconnect. Yeah, we may be going into timeout here. I think I will kick it over to an intermission while I wait for Hooney to likely restart his computer and get back in here. Hopefully it won't be too long. Ideally not 5 minutes, and we'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere. More Onward action coming up. We're tied 1-1. Welcome back, everyone, from our brief intermission. It does look like Hooney Half has come back into the lobby, and with no delay, and right on time, might I add, we are diving into round number 3 of map number 1. Both squads in and ready to play. And the map's still not showing
Oh, grenade. Where's Vegas at?
the proper teams. I apologize, we'll just be seeing Legionnaires on the mini-map today. Means we'll just have to keep a close eye on SpaceForce. Shouldn't be too hard considering they're moving as a tight group right now. Alright, Destructor going into Kayat, sending out some LMG fire.
I didn't say anything.
Diesel splitting off, and the rest of SpaceForce rotating around the far west side. They will be running into Mr. Miyagi? Or Raider. Maybe Vegas, who's over there. Yeah, it is Vegas, peeking through the windows, trying to ID if anybody's rotating around this west side. He may have just spotted one. They are also looking for him, though, so it's equally risky for him to be peeking these windows and already taking some shots, so now at least he knows there's one here, though. More exchanging of fire up the middle.
So you want me to smoke for the cross?
Suppressive fire from Destructor. The play coming out from SpaceForce right now. One smoke. Actually, just a nade. They're tossing it up and over, trying to get it over that little corner there to ensure there's no tricky Legionnaires defending here, waiting for the push. Vegas did rotate off of that window position, and he's now holding a bit of a tighter angle. But it is one that should catch them out as soon as they make their commitment here on the west. I don't think there's any way they can get past that angle, so... Now the push comes. Just patiently waiting. Catches out Hooney Half, holding a tight angle and fire raining out in the center of the map. SpaceForce dropping like flies. Destructor the last one, well, one of the last ones, as Lionheart pushes in towards objective. Legionnaires down 2 now. Lionheart's right here, blows past one defender, misses him in the window, gets picked up by Kitten.
Yeah, one down on objective, one down on objective.
Very fortunate he wasn't spotted in the window. He could have been shot in the back. It could have been enemy on top of objective, but now it is Destructor who has to rotate the long rotation in a 1v4 to see if he can make the magic happen. I don't know what that little magical dance Destructor just did with his gun was, but... Checking his pad, maybe checking the code. Seeing what his potential plan of action could be. Crossing the street may prove difficult. They do have one defender there, Kitten Mittens, covering a long lane. Waiting for this cross to come out. Although it is a pretty tight angle, so maybe he can squeak by with a sprint. And he'll be okay. Does decide to crouch walk past the angle, has a little bit of coverage. Is now in a bit of a hard spot here. Does dive inside some buildings and has 2 minutes left on the clock as he checks his wristwatch. I think an exciting change that's coming up. An upcoming patch for Onward is that the wristwatch will be rotated, so you won't have to turn your hand like he did there to check his watch. You can just pull your arm up a little bit and see it underneath your wrist. Dante actually came in here and told us that himself in chat. He may be hanging out right now, so you never know. And I wonder if Destructor has that loaded. I'm just looking at his clip right now. It doesn't seem like that chain is loaded into the LMG. I think he does, though. He's been putting out a lot of suppressive fire this round already, so I'd assume that is loaded. And we're just getting a little bit of a spectator bug there. Getting close. A minute left now. Zarek watching the south entry point. Should be able to catch Destructor. Peeks. But if Destructor moves after this kill, it could be an interesting little play here from him. See what he can muster up. Does spot the defense. Can't hit through those, through the grate. A nade comes around the corner. A little feather toss. Does it catch Destructor? It does. He can't get around the corner in time, and an awkward nade from Zarek ends up winning the round for Legionnaires. And they take the lead 2-1. Now SpaceForce have to grab themselves a Volk round. It is going to be a Coyote objective. The objectives are swapping at kind of an odd time here because of how the round started with Hooneyhalf DCing. They didn't remake the lobby, so they're just going with it apparently. Objectives switching it off sequences, which will be okay, I suppose, if they play it all the way through. Anyway, both teams getting fair shakes at attacking the objective now, and SpaceForce going to be defending on Coyote. Hop into round 4. Map 1. A little rhyme into the reason here because, you know, some players like to know what the callouts, where the callouts come from. This is, I always explain it. It's an easy one to explain. This is Coyote because it's Coyote. It is labeled as such. And now, yeah, we are only seeing Legionnaires on the minimap, so I do apologize for that. Try and keep you informed on all locations of SpaceForce. But we may be running into action quickly here. Already, Legionnaires pushing forward. Lionheart on the far north side, northeast side catches one. He's getting pushed quickly. The side of Vegas, who just misses him rotating around a white car. Kind of checking. He knows there's one here. He sees the feet, but Lionheart spots him first and takes the shots over the top of the car. And that's 2 for Lionheart over here. Diesel catching out Raider with a nade. Mr. Miyagi is going to look for the revive. Will he be able to get over there and get it, though? Quick check on SpaceForce locations. All 5 on your screen here. Kind of holding a tight line, and Legionnaires are in a 2v5 essentially. They have Raider down there, is Resible, but for how much longer I do not know. They should be able to hear these comms. Nades are starting to come out. Mr. Miyagi may feel deterred as driver of car picks off Kitten Mittens trying to come inside objective room. We're going to stay on board Miyagi here, who's allowed the last one alive for Legionnaires. Like he may be able to get this res. Does turn it into a 2v5. No picks yet for Legionnaires. SpaceForce. Not letting this Volk round go. Hooney half grabbing Miyagi, and now it is a 1v5 as Radar, the last one left alive for his team, pushes in to the Lion's Den, really. SpaceForce surrounding objective here. I don't know, if he proned, he may be able to sneak behind, but they still have eyes on objective from Destructor, diligently defending, and Driver of Car actually peeking the corner. Catches out Raider. SpaceForce keeping things tied 2-2. It's very interesting mirrored rounds coming out of these teams. You know, one team wins, they both won their Marsoc rounds, they both won their Volk rounds. It's good stuff. I don't know what to expect. I think SpaceForce are looking better on Marsoc than they are on Volk. But that last Volk round was very good. All 5 left alive at the end. It's not easy. We're not really taking a ton of time between rounds here either. Hopping into round number 5 of map 1 in this 3-map series. Been cruising pretty quick through the rounds as well. See how Legionnaires opt to defend Coyote objective. Everyone kind of charging into their forward positions and then tucking in. Raider here, utilizing this wood coverage to see through these cracks and remain relatively well hidden, but he is vulnerable to some suppressive fire. Pre-fire into the wood will catch him out as well, so definitely a risky position, but he's up there and he's waiting. And look at it in comparison, Legionnaire is so spread out from objective. Zarek here inside mini courtyard, and then Kit and Mitten super far in northeast. It's risky to be this far away from objective. Although Kitten can sprint, this is a relatively long way to have to run if you lose control of your east side quickly. Legionnaire is fortunate that SpaceForce isn't stacking all 5 here onto the east, or it would have been maybe a little bit more tough to deal with. Mr. Miyagi just denying himself vision of Lionheart there as he crossed around the beams, and Lionheart taking advantage of that lack of line of sight. Wins the trade. Maybe spotted his foot kicking out from the back. Either way, a kill for Lionheart, and he now gets dangerously close to another defender who's tucked himself in and now stood up, maybe giving his location away potentially. Vegas here in the corner. He does go down. Lionheart ready for him to be tucked in, and now Legionnaire's got to be getting a little bit concerned. They've lost their east side. You can see the rotation is starting to come out. Kitten's now moving over to the east. He's dropped from his northeast position. Northwest, excuse me. Raider nearly going down from a well-placed nade as he shifts his location. Lionheart crashing into objective, and he's inside OBJ, going up to the 2nd floor. I wonder if he can cap from up here. It looks like he was going to try to go for a cap on 2nd story, but can't pull it off as SpaceForce kill the remaining Legionnaires defenders and take their Marsoc round and the lead 3-2. moving fairly fast through these rounds. 3.5 minutes left on the clock there for SpaceForce. They had a lot of time to work with. Not needing to utilize it all here. Out of both teams, we're just seeing a little bit more faster play early. They're getting into their positions earlier and setting up. Getting ready to attack much sooner, leaving them with a lot more time to react if they need to, but it seems like the faster play tends to lead to fast wins. At least in this series. We'll see if that trend continues. We'll see if Legionnaires can grab the answer back, as has been happening. Also, we are getting an objective shift. That's a reminder that the objectives are a little bit off. Legionnaires will be kicking this objective off on Marsoc on the west side. I guess they have the east spawn objective on the west.
Don't take it. Come on, man.
Okay, I hot flank directly. Come on.
You make me feel like a bully, dude.
Interestingly tossed C4. I don't know how much use that has with his current position there, but maybe just deny a fast charge into blue room. Unsure. Free fire already coming out here. Xer trying to ensure no SpaceForce cross the street. Strategy I've really only seen come out of SMC. The only team that really ever tries to smoke and cross here out of this spawn. But Diesel and Vegas may be trading quickly. Vegas very fortunate he's not spotted. Destructor able to get out. Raider trying to shift over to the white car, and now Diesel may be next. Or Vegas, rather. Hitting the cross. This is an interesting move from Legionnaires, something I haven't seen out of any team. Proning across here. Hooney half. Causes some trouble, and a great quick snapshot from Kit Mittens. Denying the flank there. Hooney getting aggressive, trying to get his team a little extra edge since they have the lead 3-2. They can afford to get a little overzealous there on the corner. We do have a UI bug, so a reminder that he is indeed dead there. They don't have 5 alive for SpaceForce. It is a 3v4 now. Smoke's coming out. Destructor taking some more shots over towards Mr. Miyagi, and now Vegas trying to make his way over. Runs into Diesel tucked in and gets caught out. Good shots from Diesel around the corner as he peeks out from the smokes, and now the push here. 3:47 left on the clock. I think it is coming out from the last 2 Legionnaires, and I think a nade's coming up and over, but not quite far enough. Miyagi not pushing and dropping back on a rotation. Maybe he'll try and meet up with his teammate Kitten. Just kind of feeling it out now. Rotation from Miyagi joins the 2 up together in mini courtyard. They're going to try and make their push together here. Trying to get a line of sight on the Destructor. Actually, a really unfortunate smoke. It needed to point in the exact opposite direction and would completely deny Destructor vision. Instead, Destructor can stay tucked in and still see his lane easily. Diesel catches out one trying to cross. Now it's all up to Kitten, trapped inside this room. Just feet away from objective, but can't get to it because of all the SpaceForce defending this lane. Checks his clock, almost misses the kill, catches Diesel. A peek around and gets himself two. A great little double kill for Kitten Mittens as he now drops back into courtyard with 1:40 left. He knows he has the time. And he's in a 1v2, not 1v3. Reminder, our UI bugged there. Kitten is trying to make this magic happen. 1:15 now. As long as these guys can stay tucked in and hold angles that deny Kitten the ability to cross towards objective, should be fine. A minute and change. Lionheart is watching, so Kitten's going to have a tough time if he doesn't catch Lion out right away, which is a very hard shot considering he has these pallets to cover him. I thought maybe he was going to rotate around to the back of Lionheart, but he tosses the smoke and goes for a bit of a longer angle. "30 seconds left on the clock now. He's going for some blind fire shots on the line. Can't land him. Driver of car waiting, and the cross comes out. Kitten Mittens does make it across. 20 seconds left. He's on the backside here. He has to go full sprint. Has to catch out Destructor. Can't land the shots. Doesn't get him. And Destructor barely hanging on with his life as he's fully exposed on the side of the wall. Gets the kill and takes the win. Map number 1 going to SpaceForce. A reminder of our pick bans: Suburbia and Tanker off of the list of viable picks. Does leave up some interesting ones like Snow Peak. Obvious ones like Downfall, Quarantine. And it looks like for map number 2, let's see whose map choice it is, but it is going to be Quarantine. Yeah, it looks like this was SpaceForce's map pick as well. Reminder that Legionnaires opted into Volk. SpaceForce picking Bazaar. Now again, SpaceForce getting a chance to double down on their map pick, which can get dangerous. Especially since they won that last one, winning a couple Marsoc rounds. They're now going into series point with, well, if you consider it an advantage, the map choice advantage. Legionnaires maybe feeling a bit stronger being in control of the Volk or Marsoc decision. Both camps there, you know. I'm not really quite sure which one's the most viable. I think it is obviously very situational. Maybe feeling like the map pool not too diverse with those Suburbia and Tanker picks. Legionnaires opting for the Volk choice, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how this Quarantine map shakes up and if SpaceForce can grab a couple Marsoc rounds, because that's what they're going to need. They want to get map number 2 and take the series. like we are ready on all accounts. We're going to ensure that the series starts, that the round starts. Looks like the maps are in order. Everything's looking good here. Get ready to hop into map number 2, round 1. SpaceForce versus Legionnaires. Well, Legionnaires versus SpaceForce. Legionnaires are home. Nade coming out from Zarek, a bit too far, goes just over the head of driver of a car, and a couple of shots raining in, just missing Zarek. Driver of car advancing forward, doesn't get there in time. Mr. Miyagi goes down on the far north side, and now Zarek is here on the roof. And driver of car peeks up looking for him. Zarek too exposed, gets picked off. Raider here, though, able to find an overzealous destructor. Driver of car in the trade, and it is a trade 1-for-1. Insta-kills on both ends. Legionnaires into a 2v3 with 5 minutes left. Bit of a waiting game here now as the three of SpaceForce kind of suss out what they want to do, how they want to move in on objective. They know they have 3 downed for sure, so they have their kill counts in order. We'll see what this second member of Legionnaires decides to do as he rotates closer towards objective.
I don't think so.
He's down.
Lionheart just confirming a kill there. Kitten's really the only one with an eye on objective. Take a look at the minimap, see how SpaceForce is deciding to approach. They're sending one around the far north. Maybe he'll try and wrap around, come in the backside of objective while they pinch it from 3 different angles. A little bit of a claw attack coming out here. Now we just wait. Yeah, it's been the waiting game. Probably be the waiting game for another minute. A lot harder to push up when you're short-staffed, and SpaceForce with only 3 have to take their time moving into some of these spots. All sorts of angles to cover. Hooney half able to catch out Vegas. On the backside, Kit Mittens does try and catch him on the cross, and now they know there's one in Turbine. That's going to be very hard for Kitten to get out of here alive now. Shots coming in. Hooney half with a super tight angle catches him out. And SpaceForce, with their map pick, take Marsoc round 1 and the lead. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. If you are new to the league, the way the VR Master League works is we have 6.5-minute rounds. It is a best of 7 series. So the first to 4 wins the map, although you can get 5. I guess it's gotta be best of 5, right? The first to... I don't know how that... The first to 4 points wins. The first team to 4 or 5 points wins. We have a 1.5-minute time between rounds where the teams can draw up strategies on a whiteboard. There's a little between round tent with a whiteboard on there and some markers. And the squads draw up strategies on the map, call out where they're going to go ahead of time, kind of hash out what they're going to do in advance. So that's why we have these between round times. And I'm glad I'm getting into this explanation because we do have some more tech hiccups on SpaceForce's end. So we have this time between rounds, and it is a best-of-3 series. So the first team to win 2 maps, which means the first team to get to 4 or 5 points first on a map twice. Oh, that's some tough math, people. Wins the series. We still play all 3 maps because we have something in the league called matchmaking rating, so teams have an MMR. And how many points you gain in a series determines, or lose, determines how many points of MMR you gain or lose. It's a fun system. It's all built into the site over on the VRMasterLeague.com/onward. If you want to register a team and get involved. And it is very easy to sign up over there. Just create an account. If you want to get your toes wet, join the reservists. There you can substitute for a team if they need an extra sub. Like right now, SpaceForce may need a sub for their disconnecting teammate. Maybe they won't. We will be waiting to see. And it is all in VR. It is all cross-platform, so we have Oculus and Vive users playing. No PSVR, although I'd love to see it. No Quest confirmation, although I'd love to see it. No Knuckles confirmation, although I'd love to see it. There's a lot of speculation as to what could be coming in the future of Onward, and it's exciting stuff, but right now it's on the major headsets, and that's how it shakes out. Oof, I do hope we don't have to go into another technical timeout here. But we might. I think we will cut to a brief intermission as we wait for SpaceForce to deal with their technical difficulties. Apologies, but it is quite uncontrollable on my end, so that I'll provide you with some content while you wait patiently for more Master League action here. Don't go away. Legionnaires down 1 map and down 1 point on map 2. And look at that, we don't have to use all of the allotted intermission time. It looks like SpaceForce has figured out their technical challenges. If they have any more disconnects here and there just for a second, maybe you couldn't. They were talking, saying that they're going to have to deal with it if it happens now in the future. They don't have any more timeouts available, so the time to allow for a reconnect will not be there, but as long as they can get through this map, it'll be alright. They'll take the series. Could be saving grace for Legionnaires' disconnect problems. We'll see. This 5v5, and we are into round number 2 on map 1. Map 2, sorry. Yagi here trying to take a little gander up over these rocks. A little exchange of fire on the north. Derek. All Lionheart really has to do is just sort of be in the area, put out a few rounds every now and then.
I can't make it to the roof because he's firing on it.
Not get too aggressive. You know, should be able to keep at least one Marsoc pretty much tucked in there. Unable to move out of that position. Lionheart could very well get to rooftop now. The coverage from Zarek is not there. Zarek dropped back for a little while. I think the Lionheart's just trying to feel that out. Kind of sporadically moving around, full sprint, trying to see if you can spot anything and avoid bullets. Big Vegas proned here. May confront Diesel shortly. Bit of a calm before the storm. One of our slower played rounds, too, before the action has broken out. Although we did have an early trade on the north side between Zarek and Lionheart, things have slowed up quite a bit. 3:20 left. Vegas is close. The rest of his team also managing to make their way along the south side. SpaceForce not sending anyone too far south, so Meowgie and Kitten's using this defilade here.
I mean, I can just fucking dip, get my eyes on him.
Is that our scene?
I don't know. Just get the shit out of me.
Nades coming out. Zarek
Is down.
winning his trade on the north. All the while, the push coming out. Vegas here inside courtyard. Diesel tosses a nade up and over. Vegas going prone and taking it slow. Costs him his life. And Diesel trying to confirm the kill. Picks up himself a double. A real nice double. Denying entry onto objective from Legionnaires. Tying things up into a 3v3. They really needed that overwatch position from Zarek on the rooftop. He would have been able to take shots easily down onto Diesel here on in this courtyard area. Identified one and taken out one already. That opens up
Southeast.
that east side for the Legionnaires to enter in from. They could be coming in from the backside of SpaceForce, as Zarek can keep everyone distracted up here on the roof. A two-man long flank, a minute 50 on the clock. Have plenty of time to pull this maneuver off, and Kitten's going to be on the backside of SpaceForce very soon. He has an easy shot on a Destructor. He goes down.
Going down by
And it's got to be at this point that Diesel realizes he is in trouble. He's now directing his attention back towards objective. Catches out Meowgie, getting aggressive, coming in towards the OBJ. Getting a quick reload off, and he's in a 1v2 now. Nearly going down to shots from Zarek. He's going to take the peek and can't quite land him. Does catch him out. Diesel trying to make the comeback and finding some more ammo and a nade. Attempting to turn this sucker into a win for SpaceForce. Completely exposes himself, though, to Kitten, who was covering objective, and Legionnaires take their Marsoc round, albeit very closely, and tie things up 1-1. And I guess the saving grace of this series is that these rounds have been pretty quick. Had quite a bit of downtime between. Which happens. Tech difficulties are there. That's why we have 2 timeouts allotted per team. But they can call those if they need to. And most teams do save them for the tech difficulties, because once you're out of them and you have tech troubles, you're taking the L. It is actually why most teams run subs, and why you should run subs if you are a league team, because it's just important to have one extra player available in case you have disconnects, PC problems, the headset stops working. There's all sorts of possibilities. Bad tracking, who knows? Always good to have a spare on scene. I don't think we've seen that really here for SpaceForce. They've sticked with their main 5 and see if that is enough to take the series as we hop into round number 3 of map 2.
This lag, man.
A lot of smokes being invested to cross this street. They are effective. Zarek does get across. Kitten's a bit of a late crosser. We'll see if he's fortunate enough to dodge the bullets as well. Nearly getting tagged. Does take what looked like one, but maybe that's just a caster error on the registration there, and he makes himself safely across. Zarek spots one on plane wing. He may be getting an early kill for SpaceForce. It does look like we did have a disconnect there on SpaceForce's side, but Lionheart able to even it out into a 4v4. He is resable behind the dune, though, so Lionheart not going to be able to see that res happen. Maybe not aware he has to deal with two there in the south. Eric's looking for revenge. Peeks up and over. Doesn't see him on playing wing, but that's because Lionheart has pushed up just a bit further. He's out of the line of sight here of Zarek. He's so far forward. Playing super aggressive. Does take some shots. He's very lucky Zarek didn't peek up with a call out from his teammate. No, doesn't go down, just escapes with his life. Rest of SpaceForce making their entry point into Tank Courtyard. Reminder on the UI there, it is a 4v4. Both missing one. SpaceForce looking good here. They have rooftop control. Got one over on the south, but not too far south. They still have Zarek there that I doubt Lionheart is aware of. And Kitten. I think Lionheart's definitely going to catch one in the back when he tries to make his move from Zarek. Actually, Lionheart is aware of Zarek being there potentially. I think he just did spot him peek up over the corner. A huge spot there from Lionheart. Should prevent him from getting picked off in the back, but it is opening him up to the front. Although I don't think anybody has any angles here. Bit of pre-fire from Raider here. Kitman's able to catch out Diesel, making his way up the center of the map, trying to push in towards objective. Now the push is coming out as Lionheart makes his advance forward, taking some shots from Kitten, Mittens, and Zarek just has to peek up and over, and he'll have an easy shot to the side of Lionheart here. I think he knows that. He pops up and over. Finally takes the shots. Waited quite a while. Lionheart goes down, and now it's all up to the lone survivor of SpaceForce, Destructor. Seeing a common trend of this guy being the last one alive for this team. We'll see if he can muster together a 1v4 miracle. Gonna be tough if he can't pick off Raider. And he can't. Legionnaires get themselves the Volk round they need to take the lead 2-1. doing a quick tweet blast here, as you should all be doing as well, reminding your fellow friends to tune in to this matchup tonight. It's been a good one so far, and Legionnaires are looking to take it to a best of 3. SpaceForce with all 5. Do find 1 kill early, but it's a quick revive for Legionnaires, and it's now a 5v5. Booney half using the same positions Legionnaires did, catching 1. Will he be able to get Vegas, who's out in the open completely looking for the kill here? He doesn't expect him. Vegas keeps pushing, and Hooney half not ready for the over-aggression as Vegas comes literally gun up sprinting into the courtyard. 5 minutes left, and Vegas here already pushing up. Rest of his team now following. Trying to find out where that 4th Legionnaires was, and he's way up in the north, rotating around. Rest of SpaceForce pretty much posted up waiting. 2 in hotel. I don't think I've seen that before. 1 covering north, 1 covering the inside middle object of the map there. Lionheart in the center. Driver of car far south. Standard defensive positions there. The Legionnaires should be able to enter in pretty close to OBJ before they start taking fire. Having to get a little heal off. Does know there's now 1 in Dark Hotel, and he's taking shots. Vader using up a full LMG clip there. You can see Vegas checking time. 3 minutes now, and maybe cue for them to move. That far north rotation, look, that was canceled, and now all 4 here. Yeah, it looks like Legionnaires really focused on the cap opportunity here. They want to take this map right now. Pretty good line of smokes with a few gaps, and Vegas is able to make it across. He's over here by objective. Lionheart, the only one there, nearly goes down. 3 crashing in. Lionheart catches 2. A great trade for him. Vegas gets inside objective room and should be capping right now. Pulls the pad out, realizes he can. Goes prone in defense and is waiting now as Diesel comes crashing in. He catches him out easily. And it looks like Legionnaire is looking to take the kills and the win here, not the cap, as Miyagi and Vegas both not capping. An interesting choice to not take the map, but it does put Legionnaires up 3-1. That was very odd. I don't know why you wouldn't go for the cap. He had so much time to put in the code, and he was there. I think inside that room you can punch the code in, at least in one of those corners. Doesn't do it. Grabs that kill. So it did pay off to have the gun out, but I think he might have been able to punch the code in before that happened. We could be moving on to map number 3, but instead, Legionnaires have to grab themselves a Volk round. SpaceForce not showing up for quarantine here. See if they can salvage this map, or if we'll be going to the final map choice.
Yeah, whichever way you want to push that way, I'm the way.
Middle to north, middle to north.
Derek identifying that 3-man cross. He only spotted 1. We'll see if Miyagi is ready for 3 over here that'll be pushing on the north side. This is what he's doing. Dropped back to this little hilltop area. I was going to try and deny north entry. And that rotation from Miyagi does pay off. Driver of car getting really aggressive. Pushing way in front of his team. Does go down, and Legionnaires with an early lead, 5-3. Miyagi, a tree camper here. Using the cover of the palms as Kitten confirms Diesel trying to rotate along the south side, and SpaceForce now only have 1 alive.
Behind rooftop total.
Looks like had a nice little psychedelic bug there. Destructor fearfully pulls out his pad to realize he is the final 1 alive and has to make the push in a 1v5. It's looking like we're going to be going to map number 3. Ooh, Destructor. A very risky cross there without any smokes. Does make it. Does actually catch out Zarek. Maybe he's going to try and mount the comeback. He's tried to do this a couple of times for his team already in this series. Got a little utility left, too. Well, I don't know how much 1 smoke will really help him. I guess it helps him enough. Destructor crosses the street now. As the last one alive, he's making a pretty dang good rotation. Wow, Destructor just missing El Vegas on ambulance, and it does cost him his life. What looked like a potential comeback there for Destructor does not pay off, and Legionnaires take map number 2. This pushes us to a series deciding map number 3. I'm gonna guess we'll be on Downfall. Can't imagine anything else that these teams would want to decide the series on. And it should be now Legionnaires' pick. They can choose to be Volk or they can pick the map. I would think now would be the time to really choose Volk and stay with their strategy. So it may be SpaceForce's map pick. We'll see. Yeah, it is. An interesting tactical choice by SpaceForce, and one I nearly called out there, but didn't quite have faith in it. We are going to Cargo. It does look like Legionnaires have opted for the Volk side. Maybe they're feeling Downfall was a for sure thing. But SpaceForce, a team that's pretty dang good in close quarters, has opted for the Cargo map pick. They have chosen all 3 maps. They will be starting on Marsoc. I wonder if we're going to be having any subs, because I do see 1 missing from Legionnaires. And 1 missing from SpaceForce, but that's been kind of par for the course. And I do appreciate everybody that has been tuning in and hanging through all the pauses that we've had to have. Series thankfully hasn't been too long. We've had much longer ones with much fewer pauses, believe it or not. Only an hour and 45 in. Well, only. An hour and 45 in with 2 maps done. I've seen longer. Yeah, no subs for SpaceForce. And I think we are getting a sub from Legionnaires. Mr. Sirius coming in. So now the active roster is Raider, Meowgi, Kitten Mittens, L Vegas, and Mr. Sirius. Well, they bring in the big guns for when they need them. It is serious time. But I expect this to be a pretty quick map. We don't want to wait around or miss any of this, because these rounds could be fast and furious. There's some dank raps from me right there as we go into the series decider, map 3, round 1. SpaceForce versus Legionnaires. Already a little exchange of fire down the long lanes. Diesel may be looking for more there, getting a little anxious. Actually does go crouching, denying that vision, that line of sight. Tries to make his way past Mr. Sirius, who was waiting for that little crouch crawl. He dodged Raider but couldn't dodge Sirius's angle, and now Destructor coming in under the nade. Sirius peeks out, grabs himself another one. The sub being clutch here for SpaceForce as they lose a trade there in the middle, and Lionheart is under smoke, punching in the code. Sirius, I mean, absolutely a beast coming in, denying the cap, his third kill on the round, and now he's looking for Hooney half to tack on a fourth. A huge bring-in for Legionnaires, at least for the start of the map, start of the round. Can he get 4? Hooney half now rotating. Sirius peeks out and catches him in a 4th kill.
Way to push up. I like that.
Legionnaires take round 1 and the lead 1-0. Man, what an interesting series this has been. So fast-paced, but not very hectic, I guess. It is chaotic. It is It is fast. But the smokes and nades are there. The coordination seems to be there. Just everybody is dropping very, they're dropping very quickly. Kind of still relatively easy for me to track what's happening, how they're trying to move in. Sometimes these close quarter maps just break out into utter chaos, and we'll see if any of that happens in the next few rounds as we get into round number 2 of the series deciding map. SpaceForce got to get a Volk round of their own now.
Yeah, same. I'm going to this container right here.
Free fire from Hooney. Diesel trying to put some shots down his lane, and nades starting to come out from both sides. A good toss over towards Diesel. Catches out 2. They are resible. A follow-up nade coming in. Raider takes out driver of car. Legionnaires looking very good on their Marsoc approach. A nade coming out into center confirms Diesel down. And now the smoke's raining in towards objective. Lionheart may have missed El Vegas here, who catches out Hooney. Going right past objective. Lionheart's trying to come in the backside. Catches one out. Kitminton's on objective in the smoke. Goes for the cap. Lionheart here identifies him. Catches him in the back. And now it's a 1v2. A nade comes up and over. Goes just past Lionheart. Actually flashes him. And Meowgi drops the shield with the help from Mr. Sirius. And Legionnaires take the round number 2 and keep reinforcing their lead on this series decider. Legionnaires looking really good on this map right now. That was a great push from them. Very well coordinated play. Everybody knew right where they were. Nearly a comeback from SpaceForce, but almost nearly a cap. I mean, I guess it has been a little bit tight, a little bit chaotic on both sides of these both 2 rounds. Caps nearly coming in under the noses of both teams. See what happens with round number 3. Looks like Legionnaires taking a bit more of a back seat defense here, a little more conservative defense. Sirius, Meowgi, and Kitman's all pretty far back. Kind of waiting for these nades in the pre-fire to subsidize. Maybe tossing out some nades of their own as one does get pretty close. Driver of car able to catch out Meowgi. The Kittens should get an easy and free res there. 5 minutes on the clock. It does look like Space Force have lost one, as they have been this entire series, to a 4v4 as driver of car picks off Miyagi and makes his way a bit closer to objective. Raider is here waiting. Mr. Serious gets him as a nade comes tossing out over the line. Raider catches out one, and Destructor, again, the lone survivor in a 1v5. A team kill, fortunately. A double team kill from Raider. He's wreaking havoc on his own team. And Destructor maybe turning this into a 2v3 if he can get the res on Diesel. Which he can't do. Raider waiting for him on that lane. Catches him out, and Legionnaires tacking onto their lead, pushing it 3-0 on Cargo. It looks like after those quick rounds, Space Force have sort of slowed things up. Taking a little more time to hash out a more concrete defensive strategy here, since it is the series decider. This is a big one for Legionnaires, too. It could push them up that much closer to being in the top 10 in the overall rankings in the VRML. They are 13th right now, I believe.
They come probably with the shield again now.
And hopefully Space Force can keep all 5 here without any disconnects. I think that's definitely been one of the main issues for Space Force tonight. They've just had not really been able to fire on all cylinders and get into a rhythm because they've been having these disconnects. Nade from Hooney coming up and over a bit too far. One waiting to make their move here. Hooney dead still catches out Raider. Raider should be able to be rezzed by Kittens. Don't think driver of car is going to push out of his corner. Diesel, on the other hand, peeks out and gets one. Driver of car does push forward and grab another. Looks for Vegas, can't find him. Crouches down, looks for the pistol shot, and Vegas gets one, and now they're up 3-2. Destructor rotating for an angle and a good flash gets tossed up and over. I don't think that lands on Destructor, and the smoke gets botched. Destructor, though, peeks out and catches 2. Shield user going down, and now it's all up to Vegas. Toss real close to Vegas, doesn't catch him out, and he keeps pushing forward, not expecting an enemy right to his left here as he gets caught out from Destructor. Space Force hang on, putting one on the board themselves on Cargo. has been pretty quick-paced action here so far on this cargo map. I don't expect that to change as we get into round number 5, math, of map number 3. SpaceForce here with a nice coordinated play going under the suppressive fire and smoke of Destructor. Pushing their way up, but interestingly enough, Legionnaires have stacked their defense nowhere near the objective. Honestly, it is really open to a SpaceForce cap. Sirius catches out Hooney half. Driver of car making his push forward. Sirius may be able to get him as well. Tries to go for the res. Driver's prone. Mr. Sirius in a bit of a trade here. Can't land the shots. Diesel coming around the right side. Lionheart on top of objective. Raider finding 2 and SpaceForce into a 2v2 here. Mr. Sirius picking up the res. Driver of car crashing on objective. Driver of car picking up Vegas. Sirius on the backside finds 1 and Raider catches Destructor. Legionnaires take the map and the series 4-1. And what a fast way to end the series that really was taking quite a while to get through. An unfortunate bit of circumstance there for SpaceForce as they continued to have disconnects in this series, but either way, Legionnaires capitalizing on a couple of mistakes there and doing some really fantastic plays on cargo. They get a series win that they deserve. A good 4-1, 4-1, final 2 on the maps there. Total scoreline of 10-6. A lot of fun, man. This is a great series. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and chatting it up and tuning in. I always like seeing you. Love seeing the ladies hang out and chat as well. And everybody else that has been tuning in as of late. Much appreciated. We'll see all of you guys maybe not tomorrow, but this weekend potentially. Casts have been a little bit slim. Coverage a little bit low just because our casters are out. We are MIA. Should be back next week, and the coverage should be up then, leading into the final couple weeks of the season. So yeah, just keep plugged in. Head on over to vrmasterleague.com/onward, where you can find all of the information you'll need to get involved in the league. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. I will be seeing y'all later. Bye-bye.